and Biomanufacturing, hosted in collaboration with BARAC. I am Dr. Amit Kumar Yadav, Scientist D at the DBT, and I will be moderating today's session. We appreciate the diverse participation of our audience who have joined us from across the country. We truly believe that your engagement will make this session truly interactive and insightful. Please feel free to share your questions and comments using the chat feature. We will address as many questions as possible during the question and answer session. Today's webinar will focus on key aspects of biomanufacturing of functional foods from both academia and industry perspectives. This platform aims to foster valuable insights into this critical subsector, advancing collaboration across academia and industry. We are delighted to have an esteemed panel of speakers who will share their expertise with us. Dr. Vaishali Punjabi and Dr. Amit Tripathi, Scientist D at DBT from DBT. Academic perspective will be shared by Dr. V. Bhaskaran, former Chief Scientist, CFTRI Mysuru, and the industry perspective will be shared by Ms. Suchitra Tripathi, Head of Technical Services, Novonesis. Without taking more time to commence the session, I invite Dr. Vaishali Punjabi, Scientist F DBT, to set the context for today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Amit. Good morning. On behalf of the Department of Biotechnology and BioRac, I welcome you all to the 11th webinar on biomanufacturing of functional foods under the Biofoundry and Biomanufacturing Initiative of the Department of Biotechnology. Department of Biotechnology and BioRac have played a pivotal role in nurturing an ecosystem for boosting India's bioeconomy through its various schemes and programs. Through these efforts, India is now poised to join a new global wave of industrial revolution focusing on more sustainable biomanufacturing practices driven by recent advances in biotechnology. Recognizing the national importance of biomanufacturing to drive India's bioeconomy, the Union Cabinet has approved BioE3 policy for fostering high-performance biomanufacturing in the country. The policy, released by the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, aims to build a resilient biomanufacturing ecosystem in the country for developing bio-based products. Subsequently, the Union Cabinet has also approved the umbrella stream of the Department of Biotechnology, that is Biotechnology, Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development, BioRide, on 18th of September 2024. Biomanufacturing and Biofoundry Initiative is a component under the BioRide scheme with a budgetary outlay of rupees 1,500 crores for 3 years. Through extensive national consultations and sectoral expert meetings, 6 thematic sectors have been identified for implementation under this initiative. These include bio-based chemicals and enzymes, smart proteins and functional foods, precision biotherapeutics, climate-resilient agriculture, carbon capture and its utilization, and marine and space research. I'm happy to share that call for inviting proposals for 5 thematic verticals, including cell and gene therapy, smart proteins, carbon capture and its utilization, climate-resilient agriculture, and enzymes for fostering high-performance biomanufacturing under the BioE3 policy have been announced recently. DBT, along with BioRac, has jointly organized a regulatory conclave in the sector of smart proteins. At the heart of this initiative are DBT BioRac Molankur bioenablers that include bioartificial intelligence hubs, biofoundries, and biomanufacturing hubs. These cross-cutting technology platforms will act as a backbone for innovation, empowering all 6 thematic sectors and accelerating India's progress towards becoming a global biomanufacturing leader. Towards this, the first DBT BioRac joint call for proposal titled Molankur Bioenablers, Biofoundries and Biomanufacturing Hubs was issued, and a large number of proposals were received from across the country. The recommended proposals are currently under implementation. India's first biomanufacturing institute, the National Agri and Biomanufacturing Institute in Mohali, was inaugurated and dedicated to the nation in October last year. A MOU has been signed between DBT and ISRO for cooperation in space biomanufacturing, and a joint working group has also been constituted. A center-state partnership conclave on BioE3 policy chaired by the Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, took place on 7th of February at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. Discussions were held to facilitate collaboration between the central and the state governments under the Bio-E3 policy. During the conclave, the state governments were urged to set up Bio-E3 cells that will ensure that biomanufacturing initiatives align with local priorities and resources while remaining connected to the national objectives. As a follow-up, a MOU has been signed between DBT and the government of Assam to formalize a strategic collaboration under the Bio-E3 policy. To broadcast the activities under this initiative, a website has also been launched. To further disseminate information about the Bio-E3 policy and discuss various thematic verticals, DBT and BIRAC have launched the webinar series on biofoundry and biomanufacturing initiative. Today's webinar, the 11th webinar in the series, focuses on biomanufacturing of functional foods. Functional foods have been identified as one of the thematic sectors under the Bio-E3 policy. In this webinar, we will explore the current landscape of functional foods, emerging opportunities, challenges, and the strategic interventions needed to strengthen India's functional food biomanufacturing ecosystem. Experts from industry and academia will share insights on fostering innovation and scaling up solutions in this critical sector. Once again, I warmly welcome you to the webinar on biomanufacturing for functional foods and hope you will find the discussions insightful and inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for providing an excellent overview of the vision and objectives of the initiative. Our next speaker is Dr. Amit Kumar Tripathi, Scientist D at DBT, who will discuss briefly about biomanufacturing of functional foods from the DBT perspective. Over to Dr. Amit Tripathi.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Yadav. Good afternoon and namaskar, everyone. So, as Dr. Yadav said, I will be presenting an overview of this thematic sector, which is a very important thematic area under the Bio-E3 policy for promoting high-performance biomanufacturing in the country. So, moving on to the first things first, there is a long-standing enigma over the definition of functional foods. Traditionally, functional foods have been defined as foods which offer benefits that are beyond nutrition. However, this definition seems to be very broad and can cover from anything from a vegetable to fruits and so on. So in the year 2022, Norman Temple, in a perspective article, attempted to define functional foods in a narrower manner and a specific manner, as functional foods are novel foods formulated to contain substances or live microorganisms that offer health-enhancing or disease-preventing benefits at safe and effective concentrations. And these foods may include added nutrients, dietary fibers, phytochemicals, and probiotics. The significance of functional foods lie in the fact that they can promote wellness and can play a critical role in preventing chronic diseases and improving overall public health. The cartoon on the right shows some of the health benefits of functional foods. They can help improve the gut health. Many of them have anti-cancer activity. They can help improve thyroid function, as well as some of them can have antiviral activity. As we know, there is a dearth of antiviral compounds insofar as the chemicals are concerned. So moving on to the current scenario of functional food. So well, nationally in the country, as we are also a country focused on traditional foods, there is a rapidly expanding market driven by increasing consumer demand for such functional foods, including nutraceuticals and fortified foods. And active research and development is ongoing in bioactive extraction from indigenous crops and preparation of advanced probiotic formulation and enzyme-based processing towards development of functional foods. In recent years, there are many government initiatives, such as standards have been prescribed by the Food Safety Standards Authority of India. The Bio-E3 policy has been launched by the Department of Biotechnology, and there is a growing funding opportunity from DBT and BIRAC in this sector. Internationally, if we see, there are mature markets with robust technologies and established regulatory frameworks. which can promote commercial scale production. So some of the key research and development focus areas in this sector include the bioactive extraction by developing enzyme-based techniques for isolating bioactive compounds such as antioxidants, probiotics from indigenous crops, as well as agro-industrial byproducts. The other R&D area can also include the nutraceutical and probiotic formulation development, which can leverage precision fermentation and metabolic engineering to create advanced functional ingredients and probiotic strains, and process and quality optimization towards development of functional foods, which can include scale-up pilot production, standardization of extraction protocols, and validating health claims through rigorous clinical trials. Now, some of the gaps and challenges which we are trying to address to the Bio-E3 policy include the scale-up limitations, because many extraction and formulation processes remain at the lab or the pilot scale due to limited scale-up infrastructure. The standardization and quality maintenance and preservation of the batch-to-batch structure, because there is variability in raw materials and extraction processes, which can impact the consistency and product performance. There is a high production cost because of the use of advanced technologies and compliance to regulatory standards. And there are regulatory challenges because of the complex processes, because these are novel compounds, so they have to go through a rigorous regulatory process. So now, India's existing strength and opportunities in this sector are manifold. This is primarily because of our diverse biodiversity and the traditional knowledge which we have, which can provide unique bioactive ingredients, as we all are aware. There is a robust R&D ecosystem backed by the government initiatives, as I spoke earlier. And in recent years, there is a growing consumer awareness and demand for health-promoting products. So moving on to the way forward, in the short term, we believe that pilot scale demonstration and standardization of processes and initial clinical validations may be focused upon. In the midterm, regional processing hubs can be established, enhanced industry academia collaborations can be established, and regulatory pathways can be streamlined. And in the longer run, commercialization of integrated production systems aligned with global standards so that we can boost exports and ensure sustainability in the functional food sector need to be focused upon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tripathi, for providing an comprehensive overview of the subsector. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. V. Bhaskaran, an esteemed academic and researcher with a distinguished career spanning over 3 decades. Dr. Bhaskaran served as a former chief scientist at CFTRI Mysuru, where he led the Department of Biochemistry and Experimental Animal House Facility. Dr. Bhaskaran's research expertise encompasses nutritional biochemistry, food science and technology, nutrigenomics, nanotechnology, and molecular nutrition. His contributions to academia include serving as a member of various boards, such as the Board of Examiners at the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University and the Board of Studies at institutions like Chetinath Medical University, Devangiri University, and JSS Medical University. With this, I invite Dr. Bhaskaran. Sir, the floor is yours. So you are muted.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Yeah,
Now it is audible?
Audible, sir.
Okay. Yeah, my slides are visible?
Visible, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you'll have to put them in slideshow mode, please.
Yeah. Okay. Very good evening to all. Once again. It's my pleasure to share my views with regard to the subject given to me to talk today. I have an habit of always starting my presentation thought for the day. So for today's thought for the day is most of the project fail not because of the PA's ability or intelligence, but because of the lack of 4Ds. What are those 4Ds means? They are the desire, direction, dedication, and discipline. Whether academic point of view or R&D perspective, if these 4Ds are missing, means very difficult to excel the project implementation outcome. With this thought for the day, let me move to the subject for discussion. Today's subject for discussion is BioE3 and translation research policy. I included here one more statement that is a translation research policy for biomanufacturing of functional foods, both in academia and R&D perspective. It is nothing but it gives the simple meaning that making an awareness on net zero carbon economy and mission life. It is nothing but to minimize the discharge of the waste material to the environment to protect the climate, to safeguard the life. That is the main agenda of the BioE3 and translational research policy component. Thank you very much, sir, for introducing me. I am Dr. V. Bhaskaran from the CFTRI, retired scientist. Okay, points for today's discussion on BioE3, academia and R&D perspective. These are the very, very important components which are somehow other lacking both in the academic institutions and as well as R&D. But to some extent, it is practiced in the R&D level, but in academic institutions level, no, they are not aware of much. Number one point is TRL, that is a technology readiness level, which determines the level of project status. When the project is given or when they wanted to apply for the project, they don't know the level of the project at what level they are applying. Number two is BioE3 policy. It's a economy, environment, employment. There is nothing but the project must address circular bioeconomy referred to 4R framework. Both academic and R&D institutions knows that implementation of the project to reduce or reuse the bioactive bio waste to recover the bioactives. Recycling and recovering, it is not so effectively implemented. This information we have to bring you to the knowledge of both the institutions so that environment can be protected. That is the main objectives of the BioE3 policy. GR for bioactives for the functional food application. The technology readiness level for bioactives for the functional food application. Number 4, role of DBT in promoting the BioE3 and TR policy in functional food processing and use of bio-waste. Of course, the earlier presenter very well demonstrated on this aspect. I'm not going to touch that. Limitation for the technology readiness and BioE3 implementation, challenges and future strategies, BioE3 strategy for a net zero carbon economy and mission life. These are the points in briefly what we can discuss. So during past few months, after Government of India Parliament is approved this BioE3 policy and the DBT also taken forward to effectively to implement both the academic and R&D institutions to look forward any projects in that angle to safeguard the environment and generate the economy and also the employment systems. I have posed these questions. Questions is these words, these subjective items to the student community and faculties, whether they are aware or not. Number one is a BioE3. Most of the people not aware so far. Translation research, some extent research institutions aware because past 1 decade, Government of India's and funding agencies like DBT, DST, they're insisting to put forward the project proposal in this angle. So that's why the R&D institutions aware of this translation research component. Biomanufacturing, very less is aware by the institutions. Functional food, they know, but efficacy level by human clinical studies, they did not aware. Circular economy, they're not much aware, but they know the linear economy, commodity to the one product, not using the bio waste for recovery of the additional bioactive molecules for the application of food and pharma. Net zero carbon economy, it is not aware. Food safety regulations, of course, everybody knows. Sustainable processing, of course, DBT is more insisting on this aspect with respect to employment or economy or livelihood or societal development. R&D institutions knows that, but academic institutions not aware of this statement. Food safety is known. PPP model, the public-private partnership model, not much is familiar. And the scientific auditing, this is the important question what I put. And financial auditing, everybody knows the scientific auditing, they're not knowing. These are the important aspect of the subject matter. When I made a survey, partly known by both the organizations, I mean institution, partly still unaware. So it's our duty to make more familiar with both the organization like academia and R&D institution. Then only we can bring out the effective outcome from the project what we sanctioning, so as to reach the outcome to the societal level. Let me see the next is the academia perspective of the biomanufacturing functional food. Yeah, holistic approach to functional food processing as a biocircular economy must be implemented. About this aspect, in next slide, I'll explain detail. The next point is identification and review of major steps. Definition, design, evaluation, market delivery. This can't be done by whether academic institution or by R&D. To effectively implement a project proposal and bring out outcome, a collaborative research, so many hands should join together, then only this point can be dealt very well to bring out the end point. The next point is filling the gap between the technological and the nutritional viewpoint and process optimization. These are also process optimization not possible by the one PI. There are many PIs you should join together from the medical institutions, industry and academic and R&D institutions. Target definition and the consumer requirements for communication optimization. And the next point is the research needs and implementation. These two points are very, very essential. We have to create a knowledge base on these aspects to understand the academic and R&D institutions. See, whenever a project is given or project PAs, the one to propose project, they fail to raise the following questions. If the following questions, if they pose, they can come to know what is exactly they wanted to do. The number one question is, in what ways could a consumer be more involved in the functional food development process? Consumer involvement, their concerns, their requirement is a very, very essential component. Without understanding the consumer's requirement, developing a product or process, looking for the industry or market potential, it's very difficult. Two question is, how is the term functional food perceived in the market today? That is a very, very, very important question we have to raise, whether it will go, the final product will pitch in the market to generate a more economical value or help the society to improve the health and wealth, that question is very important. Third question is, what factors must be considered during the functional food design? This is more important because there are many factors involved: financial factors, R&D factors, infrastructure factors, societal factors, nutritional factors, regional factors, religious factors. there are many things. In case of India, it is a multi-dimensional populated country, so we have to look into each regions of the factors, then we have to come forward, then only it will pitch into the market. Number fourth question, what impacts are expected from the development of functional food from various stakeholders? Because the stakeholders are the major players in case of the product if you bring it to the develop. So the next slide, academic perspective, biomanufacturing of functional food, it's nothing but studying the complex matrix instead of the bioactive extracts. So most of the researchers think that extraction purification of specific bioactives and looking for its bioefficacy with the nutritional point of view, health point of view, that it won't be okay, because when we ingest in combination with the food matrix, their interaction, their effectiveness is different. So it's studying the complex matrix is very, very essential rather than looking for the bioactive or extracts. I think identifying the bioactivity indicators, mechanism behind functionality, and defining the targeted bioactivity is very, very important, because specific target for the bioactive compound or functional food. In case of diabetes, obesity, just looking into the blood, lowering the level of the glucose is not enough. Nowadays, the consumers and consumers are expecting how the mechanism behind this, how the glucose level is bringing down in case of the diabetic complication. Looking to the various markers like a glucose phase, alpha glucose phase, alpha amylase, DPP4, like that. There are many target indicators that must be addressed at molecular level. Then next point is understanding the mechanism of food-drug interaction. The food-drug interaction, very less interest is shown in the academic and R&D institution level. This must be examined. Increasing the sustainability of the functional processing by using a waste and a consumer attitude. These are the important aspects one has to look into, both the academic and R&D perspective, making them to get more knowledge on all these aspects. Then only we can effectively bring out the functional food into the market level. See, functional food development through a holistic approach. In my earlier studies, I demonstrated that I will explain later. It's nothing but it has the two components. One is the communication optimization. The next one is a process optimization. In the communication optimization, there are another two subject matters. One is the definition and the market delivery. Under the definition, choice of the bioactive and regulatory framework, disease selection. These are very, very essential. Developing a functional food and not demonstrating the active component in the functional food renders the beneficial effect is there's no use. Regulatory market, after developing, looking for the regulatory framework, it's very difficult to get the FSSAI approval. So that we have to look initially itself what are the regulatory framework necessary if you want one has to bring out the functional food. The next aspect, market delivery, is a consumer involvement, labeled information, and the consumer education. If you come to the right side, that is the process optimization. Under the design and evaluation, what I mentioned, under the design, processing, diet, formulation, and under the evaluation, quality, functionality, and sustainability. These all the components should be put in together, considering then only we have to step into the development of the functional foods for the benefit of the society. Otherwise, ignoring many components and going for the developing the functional food, the later looking for the regulatory aspect, later looking for the disease selection, later looking for the consumers acceptance and labeling information, then the sustainability of the production is nothing will work out, then the project will end up with a failure. Few more slides I will like to conclude. See, high performance biomanufacturing food, academics perspective, once again, it's optimizing food processing to guarantee, this essential thing, to guarantee food safety, food quality, and food efficacy. All these points are some extent in the academic perspective, they're aware of it. Whereas in the case of improving the sustainability of the food processing, reducing bio-waste through manufacturing, automation, and data analysis, not very well aware, including in R&D institutions. So we have to give more emphasis on this aspect to the PIs, those who applying the project proposal to look into. So very, very important aspect, the methodology, what a PI follows, those who apply for the project to the funding agency like a DBT. Methodology is that simulated digestion or in vitro using cell line, including using in vivo model system like animal model, both academic and R&D institution they following. But the next level is bioaccessibility and clinical information related to the formulated product is not, we are not extending, as in the case of other South Asian countries like Japan, because any project there, it's linked with medical institutions and industry to execute collaboratively and bring out the product for the marketability. Whereas in the case in our country, it's not happening. We stop with the in vivo studies with animal models maximum. We look for the publication of the research findings. That means that we are giving the free of cost our research findings to the third party to take forward. Because when Professor Brahmachari, DG, CSAR, he has given a project proposal to us to look for what is the percentage of the technology information we are publishing without encashing in the form of patent or process. We could find that there are 33% of the patentable information or product related information just we are publishing and leaving as such, as an individual centric, not looking for institutional centric. That is a very, very important. This can be executed in such a way that if many hands like academic institution, R&D institution, medical and industry, government participation involves together to implement a project proposal to come out and posing the questions like what, who, where, when, how, why, what to do, who will do, where to do, when to do, how to do, why to do. If we pose these questions, definitely we can get an answer. Then the end point will be the beneficial to the community, society. In this regard, recently DBT announced to call for the proposal Bio E3 in collaboration with the BIRAC, that proposal at the carbon capture and biomanufacturing the smart. So I request to those audience, those who are participating in this, download this advertisement and apply for the project proposals. Technology readiness level, I will finish in under 2 minutes. Technology readiness level, R&D institution very well aware of all those things, but academic level, this is not very well known. So that's our duty to educate them, make them to understand what is meant by the technology level, so that to execute the project proposal. In case of functional board, there are 7 levels, starting with review of literature, identification, development assays, in silico, in vitro studies, in vivo studies, we using animal models, scale-up process, preclinical studies, bioavailability studies, and approval for the bioactive compounds and functional codes, and the clinical studies. Okay, this framework should be available to the every academic institutions and R&D institution, so that they can follow and they know where they are when they're playing the project. This is in just to summarize the translation research or role of Bio E3 in circular economy. It's nothing but transforming basic science discoveries into practice and application. Basic science to clinical research improved health, which that information available to the government for making the policy and recommendation, or based on the various types of the studies what I mentioned, bringing out the functional code, well, the health claim, that goes to the agency for the government policies and recommendation. So this aspect, what is it, principles, importance to the food systems, I already demonstrated. Circular bioeconomy means It refers to the 4R framework, that is a reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. This aspect I already told, mainly to understand linear to circular bioeconomy for the economic prosperity, environmental quality, and sustainable societal growth. What I mean to say, from anywhere, this project proposal should focus on 4Rs and TRL concept, so that definitely we can come out with a product. With this one example, I like to conclude. The circular economy model highlights using renewable natural resources to minimize bio-waste disposal, to protect land, water, and air. It's nothing but minimizing the climate change from both water spill, air pollution, and land spill. No, for one example, I took in case of bio-waste or byproduct from the flower industry, either from river or land or opening dumping. The flower is collected and used for the recycling. What I told already, reuse, recycle, and recover the bioactive components from the chrysanthemum flower. Waste management, we can recover nutraceuticals like lutein and other pigments. It's market potential during 2023. If you see that the nutraceutic market potential, $712 US. The leftover biomass, fibrous material, still it has an aroma, world's aroma that can be used for the incense sticks, colors, and textiles. That also the USD market value, you can see $1,234 million during 2024. And it can be used for the biofuel preparations. So this gives the information about the sustainable development goals to control the climate change with respect to the flower waste. Like that, with respect to the aquatic waste, this is the shrimp industry. Instead of looking for the linear process only for the meat, if you use the circular process, we can get the chitin, chitosan, and astaxanthin rich oil. They have the huge market potential for health and nutraceutical perspective. Similarly, seaweed also, this is the slide showing a seaweed both for the pigment and also picoidin, the polysaccharides, resins, alginate, because they have the market value potential. This is another to help the farmer community. This is a moringa leaf. I have taken one example. Rather, it consumed directly, remaining it goes as a waste. It can be recycled to produce various moringa leaf-based products, as in the case of China. From India, the leaf powder, it goes to China and comes back with a higher value than what we are purchasing. That can be entertained in India only by adopting the circular economy system to develop a health claim for this agriculture commodity. In such a way, for the turmeric, this is banana, looking for the banana for the consumption and fruit pulp industry. The peel can be used apart from the pectin for serotonin and melatonin. It has the huge health benefit. This is the ginger. This is the, in case of the grain, wheat bioactive, arabinoxylan is one of the important polyoligosaccharides, plays a major role in the health industry and as well the food industry. So like this, there are many commodities like a tomato, like that. This key strategy of DBT already a person from DBT explained. I don't want to go into that. The last slide, limitation with respect to, this is very important, whether we give the project to R&D or to the academic institution. Project review happening, no, there is no doubt. Action taken as per the recommendation of the review, there is no doubt is happening, but very strictly it's not happening. Scientific auditing is not happening, but commercial auditing is happening. Scientific auditing in the form of the end point rather than the publication, we have to look into that. Then only we can effectively implement the Bio E3 component and translation list component to benefit the public and the industry. My take-home message from my presentation: the TR and Bio E3 in an academic and industrial medical environment requires support system, manpower, goals, experimental models, partnership, and infrastructure and circular economic concept that will push from promising basic science and technology projects forward to clinical and societal route outreach without without impacting the climate. Thank you very much for listening. If any questions for clarification, it's open for discussion after the next presenter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaskaran, for providing an excellent overview of the functional food subsector from an academic perspective. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Suchitra Tripathi, Head of Technical Services, Novo Nisses, to present the industrial perspective. Dr. Tripathi is an accomplished food scientist working with enzymes and ingredients for more than 24 years, helping food processors bring innovative, cost-effective, and sustainable products to consumers' plate. Dr. Tripathi has led many groups in Novozymes, including Regional Innovation Team R&D India, baking, food and protein technical services for Southeast Asia, India, and Australia, New Zealand, and technical service and innovation for the South Asia region. With this, I invite Mr. Tripathi.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, audible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Amit, for introducing me and my organization. It's always a pleasure speaking on these occasions and on this platform. Dr. Amit Tripathi and Dr. Bhaskaran really made my presentation or entry very smooth, talking about what are the challenges you're facing today. Dr. Amit, you can copy paste the presentation that you have on the gaps and challenges that we are facing as industry as a representation from Novo Nisses as well. So I really don't have to touch up on those points. And Dr. Bhaskaran, it was really nice to see how you have guided and you have been guiding the industry in laying out very clearly the requirements. How can we be successful in this segment? What I will talk about today from the industry perspective is more from what one slide that Dr. Bhaskaran has mentioned, that is on the holistic approach. How can we be successful in this segment? That is a communication optimization. We have been putting a lot of focus in terms of manufacturing, understanding the functional ingredients. However, if we do not spend equal amount of resource and energy in understanding what consumer wants, all that we have developed probably will not find any market where we can sell this. So those study from industry perspective is what I'm going to bring in here. To let the audience know who we are, the organization I'm coming from. I'm coming from Novo Nisses. It's an biotechnology hub, one of the biggest industrial player where we manufacture cultures, probiotic strains, enzymes for industrial application. There are more than 30 different industries we cater to, including food, and the cultures are mainly for the dairy industry. A year ago, last year, 2024, January, two organizations came together, that is Novozymes, as well as Christian Hansen, very strong biotechnology solution provider on industrial scale. and join force together to make one organization, that is Novonesis. That's how the bigger organization Novonesis has evolved. In India, we are present more than 40 years now, helping the industry, bringing in more sustainable solutions, more cost effective and more healthy solution. With this, what I wanted to start my presentation saying that over the years we have seen that the human microbiome is now has 50% less diversity in our gut. And the reason being the lifestyle we are leading, urbanization, stress, as well as the food habits that we have. More and more refined food, less coarse grains are coming into our diet, which is making our microbial diversity less diverse. And at the same time, what we are also looking at that the more and more probiotic cultures, when we put into the clinical studies, it shows more positive outcome. And from the consumer point of view, around 85% of the consumers are interested in getting probiotics through functional food. They don't prefer to have a tablet, but they feel that if the product that I'm consuming today has a functional benefit or any kind of probiotic cultures in that, I would be more than happy to consume. At the same time, probably earlier years, we were not very focusing on our future in a more proactive way. It was more reactive. But today, 60% of the global consumer is actively looking at proactive measures to address some of the health issues that might occur tomorrow. With this background, we also see that the consumer is moving more from less of in a food product to what more I can get. Less salt, less sugar, less fat, to now they are also looking at more vitamins, more probiotic cultures, more active ingredients, more antibiotics. At the same time, they are also preferring to have more nutritious food because the education level is going on. People are more aware what they are eating today. They started reading the nutritional level. They started browsing what are the benefits of each ingredient that they buy today, what health benefit. So they want to have an informed decision on the food that they consume. At the same time, they also understand that every individual has a unique need. They want to customize the food according to their need, their lifestyle, their age, the stage of life they are, the lifestyle they are leading in terms of sedentary or active, more sports. So they want to personalize their diet. So that put more pressure on the food ingredient manufacturers or more food producers into finding out more customized solutions for different need. Yesterday, probably we'll buy one health beverage and the whole family used to drink. We are not doing that anymore. The child will have a separate drink. The mother, women in the family will have a separate drink that is required for their health as well as the men in the family. And similar thing goes for the older generation in the family. With this, they are looking for food and beverage that is not just nutritious. That means they are looking for functional health benefits in their food as well as in drink. And they also want to see the impact immediately. We don't have patience anymore to see the impact after 6 months or a year. Whatever I see today or consume today, it should give me the results in a day or in a week or say max in a month. And around 46% of the people or functional food users, they state that they consume for a specific benefit. I want to have a better digestion, so I need to pick things that is good for my digestion. More mental health, more for stress, managing stress. So they're becoming more and more specific, more for bone health. In this entire picture, probiotics is emerging to have a very unique position, that which also means that the type of food we consume today, be it buttermilk, be it curd, also has a probiotic footprint, and that helps consumer to relate more, understand more probiotic in their diet. It's just not the studies that happens, it's also the number of people clicking onto social media wherever there is a gut health mention is humongous today. Around 5 billion people today click on gut health in 2022 on TikTok and building awareness campaign. At the same time, if you see the scientific papers that is published today on the gut health is more than 10,000 publications. Similarly, functional food, gut in the microbiome, probiotics are also in the similar trend going up. So having said that, we have also seen in countries like US, more food products are being launched with a digestive claim. Sorry, excuse me. Last year itself, 51% of the functional carbonated launch in US was done with a digestive claim. And if you see globally, in the past 6 years, more than 800 products are launched in those claims. However, digestion and gut health are not the only claim people are looking for. People are looking for food that overall give them a benefit, a more holistic approach towards maintaining their good mind, energy, gut immunity, bone, and strength. And for that, they are looking for ingredients that can help them, be it better sleep and stress management, better mood, some of the very active or very, very specific gastrointestinal conditions like, say, gastric ulcer, which may be caused by H. pylori, or better immunity, especially post corona or COVID, and bone health throughout the stage, be it a child or for the old age, where the bone density goes down because of either lack of calcium absorption or vitamin D efficiency or channelization of the calcium to other parts of the body. So, most of the common health claim and functional ingredients that's targeted today are for gastrointestinal, immunity, brain health, protective health, metabolic health, personal care, women health, and not to forget about infant and children health. And some of the microorganisms or probiotic strains that's been used in this are mentioned over there in the bottom of the slide that you can see. And it's just not limited to that. There are many more, but these are some of the most prominent probiotic cultures that's been used today in our as a food, functional food segment. So industry today is looking for not just the life cultures that we used to use today in a more cold chain stable, but we are evolving to provide the similar benefits in a more thermostable form, or bring in products which are more stable in ambient formats, or even what are the product, be it prebiotic, probiotic, or postbiotic, what can help even in other formats where today we are not present. This helps in widening our presence and reaching out to more consumers through different food formats and different consumption pattern. And what we are talking today is just a fraction of the the plethora of ingredient that is possible today through functional food. Probably I just brought in only about probiotics, but there are vitamins, proteins, antibiotics, enzymes, postbiotics, amino acids, and many other ingredients that's possible today through fermentation process. So with this, I will be resting my presentation, saying that probably dairy is the biggest industry where probiotics are being used today, because the probiotics are more stable in a cold chain or frozen format. But more and more research is happening to include these probiotics or even functional ingredients and ensure the availability in human gut is much more, and it also provides the benefit to the human being, be it stress releasing or cognitive health, bone health, or gut health or immunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Tripathi, for providing an excellent overview of the functional food subsector from the industry perspective. We will now open the floor for questions from our audience. Please type your questions in the chat box, and our team of moderators from BIRAC, Dr. Smita, will assist in facilitating the discussion. Over to Dr. Smita.
Thank you, Dr. Amit. So we'll take some key questions by the audience participants now. The first question that I have here is for Ms. Suchitra. The question is, how can companies leverage India's rich biodiversity and traditional knowledge to innovate in the functional food sector? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so I think India, knowingly or unknowingly in our daily diet, we are already consuming a lot of functional food. What is lacking today is understanding more in a scientific way, more clinical research to establish, and more publication to let the world know the knowledge that we have that has been handed over from generation to generation is something is also been documented, and we create those repository for people to refer. The more we invest in understanding and research, the better will be our clarity and utilizing, or the industry picking it up and utilizing as a functional food and incorporating in their daily diet. Like curcumin, I think today the whole world know about that because of our understanding now. Curcumin as an active ingredient is also going in different part. Similarly, some of our traditional fermented beverages, what is that making it help in digestion? Which microorganisms can we isolate those microorganisms, and then we build those microorganisms in the lab, scale up, and then make it more commercially viable and stable. So those are the things that we need to work more and spend more work on.
Thank you, ma'am. So the next question is now for Dr. Bhaskaran. Participant is asking, what are the emerging trends in functional food, such as the use of probiotics, prebiotics, and plant-based ingredients? Over to you, sir.
There are more avenues available at present to come out with functional food with prebiotic, probiotics, and the other component what Madam has mentioned. See, avenues in the sense, as Suchitra Madam clearly mentioned, dairy industry is now it's a huge known where we can work more targeting the mothers and as well as the infants, where functional food can be brought out from for targeting them, incorporating prebiotics and probiotics so as to improve the colon health. These are the main avenues. Apart from that, prebiotic, probiotics also play a major role in the case of general functional foods, so those who lack intestinal microflora and their functionality.
Okay, sir. The next question is also for you. What are the potential environmental impacts of large-scale functional food production, and how can they be mitigated?
See, this is a very good question. That's why the Government of India and DBT brought out the concept of Bio E3, rather looking for the linear processing. I mean to say from the produced product. When you develop a produced product, lot of bio waste or ingredients are left out, that is simply discharged to the environment, whether land spill or air spill or the water spill. Instead of throwing like that, no, I have shown a simple example how we can bioprocess the marigold flower or ginger or turmeric or wheat germ, so that by recycling we can recover the bioactive molecules present in the bio waste for the food and pharma application. Not a single recycle, secondary recycle, third tertiary recycle, rather bringing out a one bioactive molecules, secondary bioactive molecules, tertiary bioactive molecules we can bring out. For example, in case of wheat germ, there are many bioactive molecules left out in the bran. That bran is mainly used for the fodder feed or poultry feed. Otherwise, it is wasted. So we can get the arabinoxylan to use as a prebiotic component to induce the growth of the beneficial microflora in the intestine. And wheat germ can be separated because it is a rich source of N3 polyunsaturated fatty acid. Vegetarians those who are looking for N3 fatty acid, rather going for the non-vegetarian source of fatty acid like cod liver oil or from other meat and poultry sources. Like these are the examples. There is many avenues how we can recover the bioactives from the bio waste. In that way, we can mitigate 90% of the recovering, making use of bio waste, so that very less can be disposed into the environment, or even that can be minimized by converting that to as a biogas production. This is the mitigation way. These information is very well demonstrated in the DBT website also. As a biocircular economy, how the environment can be protected by mitigating the bio waste. For this, a holistic approach, what Tripathi Madam is explained very clearly, that a collaborative research between academic, R&D, medical, industry, if it is there, it can be brought out very well so that our climate can be saved.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is for Ms. Tripathi. Dr. Ram Kulkarni is asking, consumer preferences are definitely important. Do you think it is even more important to educate the consumer on the scientific facts regarding functional foods and what is the really healthy, and then collect their preferences?
Of course, awareness is extremely important because whatever is available and we have the time to browse through that, or our interest, we only look for those information. And we all agree that the information is just not limited to that. So awareness campaign is extremely important to ensure what is good for you, what is good for others may not be right for you, right? So to differentiate that, so that they pick the right product that is apt for them. I cannot have a children or a small child 10-year-old kid's diet or the ingredients that is important for them for their growth to see that it is good for them, it will also be good for me. No. So that's why awareness campaign is extremely important. That's why the organizations like sort of various organizations are important to bring in through using different media. Today whatever we see on the social media, we pick up those, but it's also important to let them know that sometimes a partial information is more dangerous than not having those ingredients consumed at all. So yes, it's extremely important to make them an informed decision what they are consuming is the right fit for them or not.
In this regard, I want to make one more point. Apart from the knowledge-based sharing with the consumers regarding the functional food, a statement, as in the case of other countries, Western countries and Japan, the functionality, what for this food is good, other than the nutritional profile, what we mentioned in the labelings, no? The functionality of the product and purpose for what this can be used, if we included that, no, it's a self-educative, self-explanatory to the consumers when they go for the purchase of the product. Such kind of the beneficial aspects of the food, no, should be added into the labeling.
Yeah. I just want to thank you to DBT and BIRAC for organizing and inviting me and my organization for this talk. Thank you so much for your time. I will take a leave. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions to me?
Yes, Dr. Bhaskaran, there is one question specifically addressed to you. How can encapsulation or nano delivery systems improve the shelf life of bioavailability of nutraceuticals?
That is a modern technology. Of course, 2 decades before it came into the scientific field, nanotechnology. Of course, in my laboratory, in my group also actively worked on the nano encapsulation of the nutraceuticals for improving their shelf life. Other than that, for everything we can't go for the nano encapsulation. Only for the bioactive molecules which has the more health benefits, which are liable to the heat and light oxidation, so as to protect their activity. One has to go for the nano encapsulation. That's the first point. Second point, apart from helping the shelf life enhancement of the component, this is the first point. The second point is by nano encapsulating the lipid soluble components which are prone to oxidation, oxidation help to intestinally more accessible and biologically available to the system for the functionality, and also we can find the target delivery to the system. These are the advantages, apart from the shelf-life enhancement by nano-encapsulating the bioactive components and incorporation of them in the form of the functional foods. But one thing we have to be very careful when we go for the nano-encapsulation mode, it's a safety aspects. And the particle size goes down, this efficacy may be more with respect to the biological functionality, but the effect to affect the system, toxicity perspective, we have to be very careful.
Thank you, Dr. Smita. Now, as we come...
Yeah, if there is no more question, I wish to thank the DBT for extending the invitation to share few of my knowledge base for the benefit of the academic and scientific community. Thank you very much once again for the invitation.
Thank you, sir. As we come close to this insightful webinar, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all our speakers for their valuable contributions. Your insights have shed light on the immense potential of this subsector of functional foods. For those unable to attend live, the webinar recording will soon be available on the DBT and BIRAC websites. Finally, please mark your calendars for the next webinar in the series, which will continue to explore various thematic areas of the biofoundry and biomanufacturing initiative. Details will be shared soon on the DBT and BIRAC websites and through various social media platforms. Thank you once again to our speakers, participants, and the organizing team for making this event a success. We look forward to your continued engagement in the upcoming sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.